Hello students, welcome to CSAT Guru. It is the part 2 of our CSAT 2024 reading comprehension discussion. Okay, who have not attended the part 1, please try to see the previous video also. Let us do the passages. In the previous video we completed 8 passages. In this video we will discuss remaining passages from 9th onwards. Read the passage. Conventional classrooms, by emphasizing fixed duration over learning effectiveness, resign themselves to variable outcomes. The tyranny of the classroom is that every learner is subjected to the same set of lectures in the same way for the same duration. In the end, a few learners shine, some survive, and the rest are left behind. After the fixed duration, the classroom model moves on with not a thought spared for those left behind. This is how we end up with 10% employability in our graduates after a decade and a half of our formal education. Repeating the same ineffectual script in the realm of skill education will not produce different results. Okay, what is the main idea of the passage? The main idea of the passage, it is means author is criticizing, okay, it is a critic of existing conventional classroom structure. Okay, let us underline few important points. That conventional classroom structure emphasizing fixed duration over learning effectiveness. Okay, means they are more focusing on duration, whether it is 1 year or semester, but they are not focusing on what is the outcome. That's the reason there are variable outcomes. Okay, and one more thing, every learner is subjected to the same set of lectures in the same way for the same duration. What does that mean? Means irrespective of students' capability or students' background, they are applying the same method for everyone. That it is like a what is that? One size fit for all. Okay, one size fit for all. Okay, one size fits for all. This is the method is applying in classroom, conventional classroom structure. Okay, that's the meaning. In the end, few learners shine, some survive, the rest are left behind. Okay, in the last statement, repeating the same ineffectual script in realm of skill education will not produce different results. Different results in the sense, so they are also going to be lost. That means if you apply the same method in skill education, you won't get the fine results. That is the author's intention. Okay, let us see the question. Which of the following statements best reflect the most logical rational inference? Okay, question is about inference. In conventional classroom learning, the central goal is duration of learning rather than attainment of competency. Yes, this is the meaning, right? Fixed duration over learning effectiveness. So first statement is valid inference. Conventional classroom encourage one size fits all approach and stamp out all differentiations. Yes, this is also already we discussed valid inference. So both 1 and 2, option C. Okay, next question. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Question is about assumption. As a large number of workers in our country are employed in organized sector, India doesn't need to change its present conventional classroom system of education. No, it is inconsistent with our passage. Inconsistent. Why? Means in the passage, author is criticizing the existing conventional classroom method, which is not providing sufficient skilled persons, okay, for the employability. Even he mentioned 10% employability, that is very less employability. Okay, so definitely there should be a change. That is the intention of the author. So this is not the valid assumption. Second, even with its present conventional classroom system of education, India produces sufficient number of skilled workers. No, once again this is also inconsistent. He clearly mentioned there is only 10% of employability. That means that is not sufficient number of skilled workers, right? So this is also invalid assumption, neither 1 nor 2. 10th passage. When a child reaches adolescence, there is apt to be a conflict between the parents and the child, since the latter considers himself to be by now quite capable of managing his own affairs, while the former are filled with parental solicitude, which is often a disguise for love of power. Parents consider usually that the various moral problems which arise in adolescence are peculiarly their province. The options they express, however, are so dogmatic that the young seldom confide in them and usually go their own way in secret. Okay, what is the main idea of the passage? It is talking about conflict between, okay, adolescents, means adolescent children and their parents. Okay, let us see. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. First assumption statement: the adolescent does not feel comfortable with his parents because they tend to be dominating and assertive. Yes, it is valid assumption. Okay. See, if they are comfortable, they have to accept their parents. But in the passage it is mentioned, since the parents are so dogmatic, see how he is criticizing the parents' approach. Parents are so dogmatic that the young seldom confides. Seldom means negation. Okay, young seldom confide means young won't confide to their parents' choices. Okay, so if they are comfortable, they will accept. So definitely they don't feel comfortable with his parents. That is true. The adolescent of modern times doesn't have much respect of parents. Okay, it is out of the scope. Okay, the passage is not talking about whether that adolescent respect their parents or doesn't respect, and even you can say means it is irrelevant of our passage, and there is no discussion related to means with any point of this passage. You can say that yes, with this passage we can say that adolescents won't respect their parents. No, it is only talking about they won't accept their parents' choices. It doesn't mean that they are going to means they are not respecting their parents. Okay, if they, okay, it is not about children are not respecting their parents. So I can say it is eliminated. Only one, option A. Next question: which one of the following statements best reflects the central idea of the above passage? Central idea: parents in general may not be of much help when children are on their way to becoming adults. Okay, I think this is the very logical statement regarding our passage. But wait a moment, I will discuss the remaining options. When children reach adolescence, involvement of parents in their lives is unnecessary. No, I can say it is out of the scope, or I can say it is extreme. Means in any either way you can eliminate the option, since the passage is not talking about means is not criticizing the parents' involvement itself unnecessary. No, it is not talking like that. Passage is saying that parents' approach is not inappropriate. Means parents have to change their approach towards their adolescent children. That is the intention of the passage. Okay, it's not criticizing that parents means is not suggesting that parents should not involve at all. Okay, that is not the discussion of our passage. So B is eliminated. Modern day nuclear families are not capable of bringing up children properly. Once again, it is out of the scope of our passage. And one more thing, passage is talking about general thing. It is talking means option is talking about nuclear families. Okay, so it is specific thing. So this is also not valid assumption. In modern societies, adolescents tend to be stubborn, disobedient, careless. No, no, no. Why? Once again, same reason. There is no discussion related to adolescent become stubborn, disobedient, careless. Okay. In other way, it is extreme statements. So eliminated. So option A is the very reasonable option. Okay. Next passage. Read the passage. When an international team of pumped a carbon dioxide and water mix into underground basalt rocks. Basic chemistry took over. The acidic mixture dissolved rocks, calcium and magnesium and formed limestone. Basically, carbon dioxide is converted into stone, exclaimed the scientist. Okay, what is this passage talking about? The main idea is a team of scientists did one experiment. What is that experiment? Carbon dioxide and water mixture is pumped into basalt rocks. Okay, basalt rocks, and basalt rocks, they means their minerals calcium and magnesium, means this carbon dioxide and water mixture, it is nothing but uh, carbonic acid, right? Okay, this acid interacted with took a reaction with calcium and magnesium and converted into limestone. Okay, this is a simple explanation of the passage. Okay, and they exclaimed, that means why they exclaimed? Anyone try to tell the point, means why he used the word exclaimed, the scientist? Okay, this exclaimed word indicates a significant achievement. What is that significant achievement? If you observe, carbon dioxide turned into limestone. What does it mean? It is nothing but carbon sequestration, right? What is carbon sequestration? That means the atmosphere carbon dioxide is trapped into solid form. Okay, so we can avoid or we can reduce the carbon dioxide in atmosphere using this method. That's the reason they exclaimed. Okay, so it is helpful to the fighting against the climate change. So that's the reason the word used exclaimed. Fine. Okay, so let us see what is the question and how we have to do the question. Which one of the following statement best reflects the most logical, rational and practical suggestion implied by the passage? Let us see. It is a cheap and practical method to produce limestone at commercial level for building purposes. Okay, see how tricky statement it is. Okay, so most of the students here may confuse that. Yes, the resultant is limestone, it is clearly given. So, and they exclaimed. So that means limestone is become cheap, means with this method. It is most convincing statement, but it is not valid. Why? This exclamation not related to converting carbon dioxide into limestone. It is not about limestone, it is about carbon dioxide converted into solid form. That means if you use this method, we can fight against the climate change, where we can reduce the carbon dioxide percentage in atmosphere. Okay, that is the whole idea. Okay, so it is a very tricky statement, not valid. This can be used as one of the methods of carbon sequestration. Yes, as I said, this is the valid what is the central idea or implication. Okay, but wait a moment, let me finish the remaining statements also. Okay, means hold for a moment, means we should not confirm the answer in a first go. Let us see the remaining statements. Basalt rock can be made a good source of calcium and magnesium minerals by this method. See how tricky. Since in the passage calcium and magnesium is mentioned, no, it is not talking about calcium and magnesium, it is not talking about mineral extraction. Okay, so this is not the case. Good rock dissolving acid can be produced by mixing carbon dioxide and water. Okay, it is also very tricky. See, means in a means simple understanding, means if you don't understand the what is that between the lines, all are convincing statements, but this passage is not talking about dissolving the rock, it is talking about the outcome. Okay, fine. So I hope you understood. Correct answer is option B only. It is about carbon sequestration. Okay na? Very tricky statements. Next passage. Geographers analyzed 175 satellite images of ocean color, which is an indicator of phytoplankton productivity at the ocean surface, and found that giant icebergs are responsible for storing up to 20% of carbon in the southern ocean. The researchers discovered that melting water from giant icebergs, which contain iron and other nutrients, supports hitherto unexpectedly high levels of phytoplankton growth. Okay, what's the main idea? Means it is talking about uh, there is a research using the satellite images of ocean color. Okay, using the ocean color, they are trying to analyze phytoplankton productivity. I hope many of you know ocean color normally it is in blue in normal means deep sea water. Okay, means without any algae or anything. If phytoplanktons are there, okay, why red plus? Means it is not that much important point, but to understand this passage, I am trying to explain this part also. If phytoplanktons are more in a particular area, that ocean color will become green. Okay, so based on that, scientists are able to analyze that where green is more. Okay, that means that indicates phytoplanktons are more. Okay, where blue is there, that means there is less density of the phytoplanktons. Okay, and one more thing, if brownish is there, gray is there, that means it is what is that, blue green algae. Fine. Okay, that is extra point not required for this passage. Okay, so here means I am trying to say using the ocean color, means analyzing the ocean color, scientists are able to find out the phytoplankton. Okay, plankton density in simple words. Phytoplankton is the basic form of plants. Okay, it's a one type of algae only. It is one type of algae only which can perform that photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis. Okay, phytoplanktons are the basic in a ocean food chain. Ocean food chain. Okay, food chain. Okay, these are the autotrophs. Okay, so if you see that video, David Attenborough. Okay, in that it is clearly mentioned phytoplanktons are eaten by krills. Krills are eaten by penguins. Means it is one of the food chain. Penguins are eaten by whales, killer whales. Okay, so here what I am trying to say, analyzing the ocean color, we are able to analyze all these things. Fine. So let us see the question. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. Giant icebergs have a bearing on primary productivity and food chains of the southern ocean. Yes, primary productivity. What is primary productivity? Already you know, phyto phytoplanktons. Okay, phytoplanktons. Okay, if these growth means giant icebergs help in the growth of phytoplanktons, that increases the primary productivity. Okay, fine, this is a valid assumption. Melting of giant icebergs can produce climate change effects and impact world fisheries. Okay, here melting of giant icebergs can produce climate change effects and impact world fisheries. With this word I want to eliminate. Why? This passage is talking about southern ocean. Okay, you have to be very, very careful about wordings. Okay, means using this particular passage you can't say or you can't assume anything related to entire world fisheries. Okay, so with that I want to eliminate this second statement, only one. Okay, another passage. Evolution has endowed caterpillars that feed on corn with a unique ability. They can induce the plant to turn off its defense against insect predators. This helps caterpillars to eat more and grow faster. The agent that causes this effect is the caterpillar's feces or frass. The find could throw new light on compound associated with the plant response to pathogens like fungi or bacteria. Okay, the passage is talking about caterpillars' unique adaptability with corn plants. Since they feed on corn plants, okay, they are capable of producing certain substance which which acts on the plants, okay, and turn off the defense against the insect predators, means to them. Okay, in this example it's against them, means caterpillars are producing certain substances with their feces or frass, okay, and they are turning off the defense system of the corn plant itself, okay. So with that, since there is no defense mechanism from the corn plant side, so they can eat more, they can feed more, and they grow more. So that is the thing which is given. But last line is important. The find could throw new light on compounds associated with the plant response to pathogens like fungi or bacteria. Okay, so means in this passage, the corn plants, how the corn plants are affected by external stimuli, right? Okay, external influence of the caterpillars. So means corn plants are subjected to respond. So with means observing this respond, the passage is taking saying that the response to be means we can analyze even the plant response to pathogens like fungi and bacteria also. That is the passage given. Okay, let us see. Which one of the following statements best reflect the most logical, rational, and practical message conveyed by the passage? Let us see. Farmers can use caterpillars to feed on weeds in their crop fields and plantation. Can I say it is irrelevant? Irrelevant or out of the scope of our passage? Okay, it's not about caterpillars. Okay, and on weeds. It's not talking about weeds. Caterpillars are to feed on corn. Okay, eliminated. This finding can help in the development of clinically useful antimicrobial compounds. No. Okay, it is not about antimicrobial compounds. It is talking about pathogens like fungi or bacteria, and that to plants response. So plants response and all this thing related to, you can say, pesticides, rather antimicrobial response. Okay, this finding can help in the development of organic, ecologically sustainable pesticides. Yes, this is the thing which is mentioned as per the last statement. Caterpillars can be genetically modified to be predators of the other plant pest. Once again, it is out of the scope or irrelevant. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. 14th passage. In a robust democracy, reality, howsoever inconvenient it may be, finds its expression both in speech of political leaders and the other social forms of assertion. The existence of the real has to be transparent both through its circulation in and by the media as well as its argumentative articulation in deliberative democracy. A normatively responsible media, through its communication effect, has the responsibility to circulate the content of reality without distortion. Okay, it is talking about media responsibility. Media responsibility in a democracy, in robust democracy. Let us see. Okay, any important point I want to underline? Yes, last point I want to underline. Means is suggesting media through its communication effect has a responsibility to circulate the content of reality without distortion. Means media should be very transparent and they have to circulate the content without distortion. That is a suggestion or opinion of the author. Which of the following statement best reflects the crux of the above passage? Crux of the passage or main idea of the passage, almost same, means both are same. Responsible media should not distort the real in ideal democracy. Okay, it is very convincing. But wait a moment, let me see the remaining. Fake news seems inherent in the life of an ideal democracy. No, not at all. It is extreme statement. Eliminated. I'm not saying first is wrong. Wait a moment, I'll see the remaining also. Later we'll decide whether the first only the correct one. As you know, we have to choose the best one. There should not be any kind of restriction on the freedom of expression in an ideal democracy. There should not be any kind of restriction on the freedom of expression in an ideal democracy. It's also convincing. Irresponsible media and political leaders cannot be effectively controlled in an ideal democracy. No, it is inconsistent. Why inconsistent? Uh, no, in other way, it is what is that? Irrelevant or out of the scope of our passage. I left with only two options, which is the best I have to see. There should not be any kind of restrictions on the freedom of. Oh, no, passage is not talking about restriction of freedom of expression and all. It's talking about media's responsibility. So, responsible media should not distort the real in an ideal democracy. Yes, for me, the first is the best statement for this passage. We have to choose the best always. Passage 15. Nowadays, there is a growing trend to use interconnected home devices. As consumers increasingly network their homes, the connected home device manufacturers and service providers will seek to overcome thin profit margins by gathering more of our personal data with or without our agreement, turning the home into a corporate storefront. Okay, corporate marketers will have powerful incentives to observe consumer behavior to understand the buying needs and preferences of the device owners. Okay, so this is talking about internet of things. Okay, internet IoT. Okay, how means IoT generates a lot of data, as you know, and this data is the best source of profit for the companies. Okay, and what is the important point? Okay, one statement is given: thin profit margins by gathering more of personal data with or without our agreement. Okay, that also means, see, these are the very important keywords. So with that only we have to understand the crux of the passage. With or without our agreement means there is a privacy issue. See, one single word is indicating an important idea of the passage. Okay, means is indirectly inferring privacy issue. Okay, let us see. Which one of the following statement best reflects the most logical, rational, practical message implied by the passage? Knowledge of consumer behavior leads to more capital expenditure in manufacturing sector. No, it is out of the scope of our passage. Okay, so means there is no mention related to capital expenditure in manufacturing sector. Okay, na? So it is irrelevant to our passage. Knowledge of the consumer behavior stimulates the growth of commerce and trade and thus helps in the overall economic development of the country. This is convincing, but wait a moment. Means I want most appropriate answer. Okay, it is general statement. It is not against the passage, but let me see the remaining options. We'll decide. Interconnected devices give a lot of comfort to home users and improve the overall quality of life. It is most convincing statement, but it is a trap. Why it is a trap? It is fact, but not related to our passage. That's the important point you need to observe. Interconnected devices can be at security risk and home users may have privacy risk. Exactly. This is the point I want to mention. Okay, so I got the correct answer. This is the very correct practical message implied by the passage. Why? The single word indicating this privacy risk. Okay, na? So with that I can eliminate the B option also. Answer is D. See how the words are important in comprehension. Green growth involves rethinking growth strategies with regard to the impacts on environmental sustainability and the environmental resources available to poor and vulnerable groups. Okay, green growth. In rethinking growth, we need to focus on the current reality of a resource constrained world. Resource intensive and in particular energy intensive process will need to make way for more efficient and resource frugal, means frugal in the sense less. Resource frugal development strategies means we have to use the less resources. If we have to avoid an economic dead end or a world in which only a small elite is able to enjoy affluence in the midst of a sea of poverty. Okay, so main idea about changing the existing growth model, we have to adapt green growth is means using this word green growth indicating in other way sustainable development. Okay, sustainable development strategy. Okay, and we have to focus on those people, means poor people. Okay, vulnerable section. Okay, these are the key points which we can understand from the passage. Okay na? And anything important points or words I want to underline. Resource frugal development. Okay, why? Resource constrained world. Okay, obviously resource constrained world only. Okay, never resources are unlimited, right? Resources are always constrained. Which one of the following statements best reflects the crux of the passage? Let us see. Environmental sustainability is inimical to our objective of achieving a high rate of GDP growth. No. Why? It is inconsistent with our passage. Environmental sustainability is inimical means is saying that environmental sustainability versus GDP. Okay. No. As per the passage, there is a possibility where you can balance both. Okay, so this is wrong. Poverty eradication is not possible without a rapid economic growth and consequent environmental degradation. Once again, it is also inconsistent. Okay, that is the whole crux of the passage. What is saying? There is a possibility if you change the growth model, we can eliminate or eradicate the poverty. Okay, but in this statement is saying it is not possible without rapid economic growth and consequent economic environmental degradation. It is against the passage. Author is suggesting that we have to adapt a method where you can balance both of them. Means you have to focus on the environmental protection as well as rapid economic growth to eradicate the poverty. So this is eliminated. Maintaining high environmental standard is now prerequisite for achieving a steady, sufficient and inclusive growth. Yes, exactly. This is the point which is mentioned in the passage. Wait a moment, let me see the D option. With large populations, rampant poverty and limited resources of today's world, environmental degradation cannot be prevented. Once again, it is a inconsistent statement with our passage. So I can confirm the option C. 17th passage. Unlike religion and science, poetry doesn't posit or expect any belief in absolute truths. Those forces or individuals who claim to have absolute truths in their grasp tend to turn dictatorial and tyrannical. Truth usually doesn't admit any contradictions or imperfections. It is Unitarian. It is therefore not much of use for poetry. Poetry abides by the plurality of life and existence. Okay, perhaps poetry follows reality which is plural, anachronistic, full of contradictions. Against the tyranny of truth, poetry remains a partisan of democratic reality. Against the arrogance of power, wealth, and hierarchy, poetry proposes both humility and defiance. Okay. So, what is the main idea of the passage? actually using the poetry as a central theme, but is talking about, okay, the reality. Okay, reality never been perfect. Okay, reality never been perfect. Okay, is saying reality in terms, truth. Okay, truth, not reality. Truth never been perfect. Unlike religion and science, poetry doesn't posit expect any belief in absolute truths. Okay, why absolute truths are dictatorial, means they won't accept other than truth. That means it is Unitarian. Okay, but what is the reality? See, follows the reality. What is the reality? Which is plural, anachronistic, full of contradictions. Yes, that is the truth, right? Of the life. Okay, plural, there is no, what is that, single way or a structure which can define the life. Okay, in number of cultures, in number of religions, in number of rituals, all these are plural. Against the tyranny of truth, poetry remains. Okay, fine. Okay, I want to go to the questions. Which one of the following statements best reflect the most logical and rational message conveyed by the passage? Let us see. It is the poetry, not science or religion, which recognizes and accepts imperfections in humans. Yes, this is a valid one. But let me see the remaining options. Truth is revealed through science or religion, and poetry is anathema to truth. No. Up to here it is convincing. Okay, means as per the passage, unlike religion and science, poetry does not posit expect any belief in absolute truth. Means in other way, these are absolute truths. Means they possesses absolute truth. Okay, up to here. But poetry is anathema to truth. Okay, anathema means poetry is against to the truth. No, it is not against to the truth as per the passage. Okay, it is accepting the reality of the plurality, reality of the imperfections. So I can eliminate this option. Poetry is romantic, imaginary, is about feeling, whereas science and religion are about truth. Okay, see, it is out of the syllabus. Okay, out of the syllabus in the sense out of the scope of our passage. Eliminated. In a world of violence, tyranny, bigotry, poetry is a form of dynamic resistance. Once again, there is no mention of resistance. Okay, so I can simply say first option is the correct one. In this poetry, it is the poetry, not science or religion, which recognizes the imperfection of in humans. Okay, the poetry one who see, the truth usually doesn't admit any contradictions or imperfections. It is Unitarian. So truth won't accept imperfection means in as per the passage, poetry doesn't posit the absolute truth. That means can I infer that poetry is accepting the imperfections of the humans? Okay, so that is the valid assumption. Sorry, that is the message conveyed by the passage. Last passage. The flower was not invented to please us. It planted its petals and spread its perfume to attract an insect. The insect carries the pollen from flower to flower so that pollen is not carried away by wind and thus not wasted. What we call a flower's beauty is merely a byproduct and a human invention. The perfume is not there to please us. It pleases us because it is there and we have been conditioned to it. Very interesting one. See, the passage about flower and its nature. Flower, as you know, flower has petals. Okay, their scent. Okay, perfume means they release certain good smells. Okay, we consider them as perfumes. See, that's a very interesting statement. It pleases us because it is there. Okay, not because for you. Okay, very interesting passage. So flowers are not meant for your luxury. Okay, flowers are not designed or created for human consumption. Okay, for the perfume or beautiness. No, it is not like that. Why beautiness of the flower? They have to attract the insects. Okay, they have to attract the insects. As you know, pollination should happen. Okay, pollen grains has to carried by the insects, okay, to one flower to other flower, where fertilizations will happen, that you know very well. So here flowers are not meant for humans, flowers are need of the plant. That is the main point. Flowers are need of the plants. Okay, so let me see what is the question. Based on the above passage, the following assumptions have been made. The author of the passage believes that flowers are creation of nature's luxury. It is exactly against to the passage. Okay, it is inconsistent. The passage is talking about it's not luxury, it is their need. Okay, plants need of flower to be beautiful, to be perfumed. Okay, so this is eliminated. The author of the passage doesn't believe in the usefulness of flowers except as things of beauty. Once again, it is inconsistent with the passage. Is saying usefulness of flowers, that means flowers are useful for plants. Okay, so neither one nor two. With this passage our discussion is completed. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the session. I completed all the 18 passages in our CSAT 2024. Okay, there are 27 questions we discussed, and I hope you consider this discussion is very helpful to you. If you feel consider this is very helpful to you, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.